Good evening. Good evening, everyone. How's the Bronx doing? It's so good to see so many people come out on this important issue. I'm so happy that there was some clarity here that this is not an LRA meeting for a vote. For those, and I know the majority of people here, you've been following and you've been reading how I did not want to participate in the last two meetings of the LRA because I didn't want to provide for a quorum without the community being heard on this issue. This is so important. That's the reason why we have all of the elected officials in the area. We have representatives from Congressman Elliot Engel's office. We have Councilman Oliver Copel with us here today. We have Tom O'Neill from Assemblyman Jeff Dinowitz's office. We have Marianne Rosa from State Senator Gustavo Rivera's office. And we also have representation from State Senator Jeff Klein's office. And if you would allow me for 1 second, I just want to read a statement. I want to get some things off my chest. The future reuse of the Muller Army Reserve Center has been hotly debated in the Bronx for years. When the Department of Defense Office of Economic Adjustment brought Muller to our attention in 2007, the mayor and my office agreed that the National Guard would move into the facility. The consensus to move the National Guard units to Muller was to facilitate the construction of 2 schools at buildings adjacent to the Kingsbridge Army. In the fall of 2009, this consensus was lost when the mayor's representatives on the Muller LRA insisted on transforming the facility into a 200-bed homeless facility. I want to make it unequivocally clear that my position is not about opposing the needs of the homeless whom I support. Rather, it's the appropriateness of using the Muller for this purpose in light of the number of other homeless facilities being developed nearby. In addition, the reuse of the building by the National Guard will require minimal expense and have little, if any, impact on the immediate neighborhood. Finally, the social-economic benefit of constructing 2 sorely needed new schools can't be overlooked. We in the Bronx are not averse to accepting our fair share of responsibility for housing the homeless. The vast majority of the city's homeless, 75%, are families, and we provide housing to up to 40% of the homeless families' entries. We also provide referrals to the various permanent housing developments, as well as serving as the home to the only family intake center in the city, otherwise known as the PAF Center. On October 28, 2010, the Bronx Borough Board, comprised of representatives of the Bronx City Council delegation and the chairpersons of each community board, adopted a statement in support of housing the National Guard units from the Kingsbridge Army Annex at the Muller to facilitate school development at the old Army site. I remain perplexed how the mayor's representatives at the LRA could overlook the value of housing National Guard units at the Muller and constructing new schools at Kingsbridge Heights. The mayor's position that federal law requires the facility to be used exclusively for homeless services is just not true. Cited from the federal law and regulations plainly require the LRA to consider community and economic development needs, such as use of the Muller Center by the National Guard. The law and regulations also require the LRA to seriously consider the notice of interest in the Muller Center that was filed by the National Guard. And I don't believe that that was taken into serious consideration by the mayor's representatives. The failure of the mayor's representative to consider the National Guard's notice of interest in using the Muller Center is contrary to the spirit and the letter of the federal law and regulations governing the reuse of the Army bases such as Muller. I want to thank the Muller LRA for hosting this hearing, for allowing you, the community, to be heard, and I look forward to hearing from my constituents. And let me just say this, that I'm truly bothered and concerned that the actual members of the LRA, the deputy mayors, who say that they are so concerned about the future use of the Muller are not here themselves. This is in no way, shape, or form a disrespect to Ms. Lynch and Ms. Monica. They are capable individuals, but I'm here today as the principal, not my representative on the LRA, and they should be here as well. Thank you all.